Police and protesters clash on the streets of a Midwestern city. This is not Ferguson 2014, but Cincinnati 2001. Did this city ever heal? What can we learn from the lessons of Cincinnati?
The best lesson for Ferguson at that point is to be prepared, but to be prepared in with measured response. Otherwise, this whole thing could turn into a terrible war zone.
Photojournalist Michael Keating literally wrote the book on Cincinnati's response after separate police shootings led to the deaths of 13 young African-American men.
Split second, officer draws a gun, bam, 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 dead man on the street. I kept shooting pictures.
It happened here on Race Street at the intersection of anger and frustration. There was a collision here between black protesters and an overwhelmingly white police force.
This was frustration. These were people that were just tired of feeling like they were living under the thumb of a group or a police force that didn't represent them very well.
Some had their hands in the air only because they were holding signs that read "Don't shoot," a message that would echo in Ferguson some 13 years later. In the intervening years, virtually all traces of the Cincinnati uprising have vanished. But there are echoes here too on Race Street, in a city that remains racially divided and voluntarily segregated.
Over the long haul, what's going to help Ferguson heal is that everybody in Ferguson has got to get comfortable with talking with everybody else in Ferguson.
Longtime Cincinnati news anchor Clyde Gray says Ferguson can learn a lot from what his city did right, successfully diversifying its police force and creating a citizens' complaint authority. Now, 1 out of every 3 police officers here is African American, including the last 2 chiefs. Black and white images like this are now history.
When there's an officer-involved incident, there is someone from outside of the department looking at it, along with intra-departmental resources looking at it.
Gray still looks at Cincinnati through the lens of what happened here in 2001, and the conversation about race issues still unresolved.
You protest, okay, that's fine. But at some point in time, somebody's got to hear what you're saying in your protest. You will turn a deaf ear to the protesters, but at some point in time, you've got to listen to somebody who has an experience different than yours. If you're going to be an advocate for calm and healing in that community, and that's what they need, calm and healing.
Follow some of the same blueprint that they used in Cincinnati, where you create a dialogue in the community.
When the grand jury decision comes back, whatever it is, that's going to be a pain point, and there's no way around it that I can see. But over time, as cool and calm heads assert themselves, there's got to be some conversation and some collaborative conversation in that community so this doesn't happen again. And if they manage that right, they may be able to forestall a future crisis.
A city can heal. The epicenter of the 2001 protests is now the heart of Cincinnati's urban renaissance. And now people are starting to talk with each other here on Race Street.